Welcome to the Fantasy NASCAR Podcast. I am Race for the Prize. Today, let's look at who is good at Bristol. Mainly designed for the newbies, the novices, but even myself, sometimes I need a reminder of who has run well at Bristol and who are the guys that I really want to target. Because again, if you watch the optimal lineup video, it can be a daunting task to predict who's going to lead all these laps, who's going to run the fast laps. I got to predict the sequencing of 500 laps with possible chaos or possible green flag runs and pit road sequencing. All you got to do is pick 1, 2, and 3. We went over this in the optimal lineup. We want to pick 1, 2, and 3. And if we're thinking Bristol, who's going to finish 1, 2, and 3? It's going to be the guys that typically finish around 1, 2, and 3. Before we go into that, let's look at a little couple trends, make this thing super useful. We did this last week. We highlighted that hog points typically come from the front. Although we did get a bunch from Bell last week, Bell just barely missed out on qualifying. We all knew Bell had a hot rod in the story. But we knew at Phoenix, target the front. Now you can see on your screen right now, oh boy. Starting positions 1 through 10, we got hog points or fast lap / laps led points or dominator points coming from everywhere. They are sprayed and spread, and there is not a predictable pattern. It's Bristol, baby. I mean, it even goes as far back as 13th. But we will notice that for the most part, they're not coming very deep in the field. There may be an occasion here and there, but at the very least, we know the front half is where it's going to happen. And again, if you think you're going to finish 1, 2, and 3 at Bristol, more often than not, you need to start there. It is not easy to pass A. B, when there are passing opportunities, there's usually chaos. So you got to survive that chaos. Starting up front usually is very helpful. It's easy to go laps down at this track. Starting up front prevents that from happening. At the very least, you're targeting hog points from the front. But for the most part, I'm really targeting them in terms of just looking for guys to finish 1, 2, and 3. You'll see on average, the leader scores 68.7 hog points in terms of most hog points. That does not mean the driver that finishes first or the DFS score number 1. It's simply who scored the most hog points. What did they score? 76, 69, 33. Or actually, I'm sorry. No, I stand correct. That is their DFS score. The driver that finished first scored 69. The driver finished second in DFS scored 74. The driver that finished third in DFS scored 50. So not always the number 1 hog is up here, obviously, right? You got guys that get into wrecks. I think memorably you got, well, I can't find him on here. Ryan Blaney, who had a pretty good race. It's just not showing up. I go right. 2018 spring race is what I'm looking for. That's 2018 fall. By the way, hog points kind of coming from wherever, but I'm not going to worry myself so much. I am under the belief, based on the data, that 1, 2, 3 in the race are going to probably be the hogs. So I want 1, 2, and 3. We'll start last year at the finishing positions. Denny Hamlin was lights out. Denny Hamlin, a great short track racer. 2019 fall win. Yeah, he's good at this race. 23, 69 hog points. 21, although he only finishes 9th, 39 hog points. I'll take it. Kyle Larson, unless you're living under a rock, you know this is his playground. The only person better than him was Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch probably not in that equipment. We had some great battles between the two in various series at Bristol. Larson, in my mind, assumes the mantle, but even I can't really claim that Larson's the best because Hamlin just controlled this race. Larson couldn't get by him. I know Larson had to start deep in the field, but that was pretty equalized, and Larson had the lead for a point of time. Christopher Bell is going to want a part of this conversation. Christopher Bell, with 76 and 74 hog points in the last 2 races, hasn't won at Bristol in the Cup Series. We know what he's capable of. If you want to say he's the best driver in NASCAR, that's fine. If you've been playing DFS NASCAR, 2018 it launched on Xfinity, and that was Bell's big year. I mean, obviously he had been good in the Truck Series, but it was hard not to become a Christopher Bell fan then, and I imagine most of you are still Christopher Bell fans now. And he's really good. He's solid. Chris Buescher has always been good. He's always been overlooked. A lot of his results have been dismissed because his average finish and finishing position didn't line up. That's going to be the case at Bristol. I explain that in more depth when I break down the lap by lap. You're just going to take my word for it. He's always been good here. And then when Brad Keselowski showed up, he got great. Brad Keselowski stole the nuclear secrets. Brad Rosenberg Keselowski stole Penske's secrets and gave them to Roush. So it goes. Ty Gibbs, really good race last year. Really nothing to lose later in the season, progressing. Plays the sequencing correctly, but he's still, he leads quite a bit of laps. Now, he did get the lead through pit sequencing on pit road, he had the fastest pit stop, and he held the lead for a while. Eventually loses the lead, but to finish 5th, big time growth. We've seen this car look really fast to start the season. This is another race where you don't have to be as, I don't know, maybe he benefited from the deferential nature of the playoff race. I don't think so. He was a non-playoff driver, so there really wasn't much weight on his shoulders. He was probably pretty confident in that race. He's running pretty confident now. Going to be on the board. Michael McDowell's been solid. Even when this equipment front row wasn't that good, he was getting good finishes. Kind of like Chris Buescher light. Kind of like Chris Buescher before Brad Keselowski showed up. You're going to keep your eye on him, but I don't think we're getting an affordable price tag, which is going to make it hard to roster him. He's going to fall in that no man's land. If we're targeting 1, 2, and 3, and we're spending up, I don't know if we'll have the money for McDowell. Maybe we get a 1, 2, and 3 discount from Buescher or Gibbs. I don't know. I think those days are coming to an end. Elliott's been fine. Elliott made some steps last week. It looked like in practice, but not so much in the race. He has been good here. You can see 48-26. I could consider him, but if I'm really pressed to spend money on a 1, 2, and 3, he's not going to be it. If I get another discount on Brad Keselowski, I think he can't get 1, 2, and 3. If I get a decent discount on him, he definitely could be a 4 or 5 spot in my optimal lineup and a guy that gets me place differential points for sure. Really strong at this track. This 8th place finish does not tell you half the story. If you watch the breakdown of the Bristol race, he passes everyone. He is the only one to pass everyone. It is a spectacular showing. The RFK Fords were really good last year at this track, and even the year before that. William Byron's been good. He faded a little bit last year. Has not been a guy out front, but he does have some solid finishes. As I mentioned in the optimal lineups, he's one of the examples of 1, 2, 3 that actually did not end up in the optimal lineup. Maybe don't overreact to what he does in practice. Seemed to get the car dialed in last week. He's got 500 laps with Rudy Fugle again to dial it in. He's going to be in consideration, but he's definitely below a lot of the guys I just mentioned. Stenhouse is always solid at this track. Need to fix the data so that it shows up what he has done. I'll fix that right now. Actually, I'll finish it later. Bowman, one of the things that you consider is he does have that win at Dover, has had some strong performances at the concrete tracks like Bristol, like Dover. You can add Chase Elliott to that list. Strong performances in the past at concrete. Nashville could be considered in that conversation if you want to lean on that data. Just another data point that you can look at is Bristol, it's Dover, it's Nashville. Concrete just runs differently. Some people are much more accustomed to it. Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick had better cars than this, and their finish was suppressed just because they got the sequencing wrong. They pit at the beginning of stage 2, and that sealed their fate. They could have easily had top 5 cars. Bubba has always been pretty solid. He's starting to show much more improvement. Reddick got an impressive 4th place finish with a not very good RCR car, good in the Xfinity Series. Gillen, slow and steady, wins the race in his 2 runs. Obviously, his teammate did pretty well as well. I think he's going to be on the board this week. Austin Dillon, been solid. Decent day for him. About a typical Austin Dillon day. Maybe he catches a break, moves forward. He might provide some value. Amarillo's not with us. I got to fix the Truex thing. Truex has been strong at these tracks in the past. I wouldn't count him out. Don't overreact to his practice. Really turned it on last week during the race. Definitely going to be on the board. We might get a bit of a discount. Kyle Busch, I worry if the RCR car has the speed that he needs. This is his greatest track. He owns this track. He loves this track. But if he just doesn't have the car, like last week at Phoenix, another track where in the past he was great. But it just seems like the RCR Chevys are a little off, which is surprising because the Chevys, in their regular build, not having a transformation, not having to learn too much, really need to get some wins and come out of the gate early. But it looks like Toyota may be already up to speed. Now, that could just be Toyota doubling down on Phoenix last week because it is a championship race, and they were really encouraged about Phoenix. We could see Toyota going back to struggling a little bit more, but this is the regular package too. So I think Phoenix might have been a bit of an outlier. We're going to go back to the regular package. We still do have a new body for Toyota, and Toyota wasn't really that fast at Las Vegas, but I don't really want to compare Las Vegas and Phoenix. Suarez I'm not really excited about. Blaney's had some good runs that you can't see it on here. 2018 in the spring, he had a really good car, runs into lap traffic and wrecks. 2018 is way back, but even 2021, 20, he's shown speed. He's definitely going to be on the board, but I like some of the other guys ahead of him. Chastain, wait and see. Sometimes I feel like he might be too aggressive. Eric Jones was great in JGR equipment at this track. Led a bunch of laps. If we go back, I think it was 2018. I can't remember what year it was. I believe it was like 2019 fall. No, probably 20. I can't go back. Either way, good, decent finish here in 2021. His equipment's getting there. We'll see. This is going to be a real challenge, though, for the new Legacy Motor Club at Toyota. Don't think he really had a lot of the speed he needed at Las Vegas. It was okay. It depends on his price. LaJoy, solid and safe value play. He was better than 25th last year. Was running in 12th late in the race before he spins out. He was pretty good. He led some laps. He went with a little bit different strategy sequencing-wise, but while he was up front, he was holding position. Briscoe, I'm not really that crazy about. I don't know about the SHR cars. Burton, not crazy about. I don't even think AJ is going to be in this race. BJ's an extreme punt, but I'd much rather punt with a Rick Ware car that's going to be much more reliable. BJ blows a tire in this. You can't completely eliminate him from the field, but if you're just going with the super cheapy, JJ Yaley or whoever we're going to have in the Rick Ware car is where we might look to target. Not really interested in Cindric. Not really interested in, well, Title's not going to be there, but I do like I don't even know if there is a secondary or tertiary Spire car. They all look pretty good at this point. Logano's had some strong races. This 2020 spring race, he had a phenomenal race. Just didn't work out for him. Gets in a wreck late in the race. I'm not really encouraged by, look, they kind of don't have enough speed this year. And he's got terrible luck. Haley in the back. All right. That'll do it. I know this is an older field that we're looking at, so be it. Hopefully some of these picks will help you out. I'm not going to run through everybody. Quick video. Hope you guys appreciated it. That's it for now. 1, 2, and 3. That's who we're targeting. Blessed to have you guys around. Love you guys. Trip Slice, fantastic.